Liquor Talk. Get that drink poured up because another episode starts now. Welcome everybody to another edition of Liquor Talk. This is a Pod Match Sunday episode. Thank you to our friends at the Pod Match Pod Match Network for providing our guest today. Our guest today is a dating coach out of California. It's Miss Shelly, the dating coach next door. Shelly, welcome to Liquor Talk. Cheers, and how you doing today?
Cheers! I'm good. It's a very interesting Thursday. Thank you for asking. How about you?
It's always a wonderful day. Interesting Thursday to start off 2026.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate you for coming on. I'm glad we're finally here. We've been talking for months, but now we're finally here.
I
So hey,
know. Yeah.
we're finally here. So all right, without further ado, tell the people a little about what you do and a little about yourself.
Okay. Hi, guys. So, my name is Shelly, and I am a dating coach for single men who are struggling to find women. So, what I help them with is to help them stop chasing so they start attracting the right women for them.
Mm. So, what made you decide that you wanted to dedicate your life to helping men stop chasing women?
Actually, because the funny story is, I'm just gonna make this as short as I can, but I did start it off as a nurse, right? I started off working as a nurse, not really what I wanted to do. And COVID came and I was like having all of this like existential crisis and I was like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." And then I've been always interested in psychology and human behavior and suddenly like I was actually applying for another job, a different nursing job. And then I received a call. I thought it was a job interview, and then it was actually a call to enroll for coaching school. I was like, what is coaching school? And then that's when it started. I actually got certified first as a life coach. And then I started digging deeper and specializing into dating and relationships. That's where it all started because I noticed like a lot of guys have been approaching me. Most of the people that I've worked with when I started becoming a life coach was guys and who are struggling in dating. I was like, okay, I think I enjoy this a lot. I was like, I'm gonna continue doing this, and that's when I started specializing as a dating coach. And then a lot of the times when I am talking with them, I notice that from what experiences that they have, I've come from that experience too, like not knowing where to go, chasing wrong men. And it's the same thing with what I'm hearing from them and what I've noticed. It's like men and women have like the same dilemma. It's just how we approach dating is different. That's why we misunderstand each other. And I was like, I think there's a lot of great men that just doesn't know how to present themselves and that's why they're getting misunderstood. And that's why I was like, I want to help those people, those single men. So my mantra and basically my mantra for my business is like I want to help the world become better one good boyfriend at a time.
That's an interesting mantra to have. One
Yeah.
good boyfriend at a time. So,
Yeah.
what is the biggest misconception between men and women when it comes to dating? Because we all have the same problem. It's just
Mhm.
we have different ways of going about it.
Right, exactly. And it all boils down like long, 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 long ago. Like, even it's just innate in our biology, right? Men are very visually focused, right? And then women are more emotional. So, that right there, there's already a misunderstanding there. Men think that a way to a woman's heart is to look like jacked or have six pack or whatever, right? And then for women, um they think that a way to a man's heart is to also for emotional bonding. That's where the misunderstanding already happens. And then now there's like a mismatch happening. Like all men want like sex, and then all women want money, and like kind of like that. But at the same time, it's just like now, especially in the culture of dating, there's a lot of like misinformation spreading in social media where like men and women are getting pitted at each other. If you're noticing that, like there's content revolving around you have to do this in order to attract women because women are like this, or you have to do this, and also on the women's side you have to do this in order to attract men because men are like this. And it's just like this is why there's so much like hate spreading around like both sides, because it's like there's a lot of, I don't know, social media has just really influenced so much of the dating culture nowadays that instead of us letting our walls down and be open to new experiences and become vulnerable with each other, we just start like closing our walls and letting our guards up to open ourselves to getting to know this person in a very genuine way. So, yeah.
Yeah, trust me, I agree with you. Social media has definitely ruined a lot because you get a lot of different podcasts where you need people will be telling you one thing, but you ask
Mhm.
them in real life, are they doing the same things? And what you'll find is not a lot of people practice what they preach. They're not really. They're just saying it for the podcast or for social media or for cloud. They're not really living by those standards.
Yeah. And what's unfortunate is like the thing with social media, what's great about social media is like we connect. Like it has given us the opportunity to even talk right now, right? But at the same time, it's also given us that I wouldn't say opportunity, but it just has us comparing ourselves more to other people. Like before, when social media wasn't rampant, it's just us comparing ourselves to our group of friends, right? But now there's just like a lot of base references that makes us more confused. And so everyone's like that right now. Like, oh, in order to know that this girl likes me, I have to do this test. Or, oh, in order for me to know if this guy likes me, I have to do this test. Like it's everywhere. And even the red pill movement, also telling guys how like you should be an alpha and do this. It's very performative based dating. And so it's like, yes, you are attracting women, you have that game that you're presenting in the dating scene, but at the same time, how about the longevity of the relationship? How about when you start really showing who you are and then they'll be like, that's not the person I loved, right? And so it's just a lot of like l- disingenuousness and less authenticness that is showing up right now in dating, because people feel like we have to be a certain way in order for us to be loved, but then we are constantly putting ourselves in the wrong places. We're searching for love in the wrong places, you know?
Yes, we're definitely searching for love in the wrong places because I guarantee you, your parents or your grandparents that have been together with their person for 40, 50 years, they didn't find love the places where we're looking at today. I know those are different times, but it is what it is. Now,
Yeah.
now, what is one thing you saw with a lot of guys that you hope that they just stop doing in 2026?
Um, well, there's a bunch of them, but one thing that I would hope for guys, especially who are all constantly getting stuck in the friend zone, they would stop doing is second guessing themselves. Because if you want to date coming from a lot of, and this is what I hear a lot, right? Like women want certain type of guys, or I don't fit in the mold of what women usually want. That's the complaint that I hear from guys. And then they just want to feel more confident. And the thing is, if you want to feel more confident, you have to lean into who you really are as a person. And what I really hope is they come from a place of dating in authenticity, because if you're coming from a place of authenticity when you're dating, you can easily convey what your your interests or what your intentions are towards the person, and that's how you also lessen the chances of you getting friend zoned. The reason why people get friend zoned is because they present themselves as a friend, not a romantic interest, out of the fear of getting rejected. But they have to remember that rejection is always going to be part of the process of the dating scene, and that is going to be your step towards the right person. Every time you get rejected, don't think of it as a loss, but think of it as a door that's opening for you towards the right person. That's where they have to really reframe their mindset on, because a lot of men are so scared of taking the first step. They said, "Oh, I don't want to come off as creepy. I don't want to come off as this as that." But the thing is, you won't know what is right for you, or how you're going to approach dating in your own way, or your personal way, if you don't perform the reps. If you're always inside the house, just swiping your dating app. Sure, it's easy, right? But then at some point you have to go out there and talk to that person. And if you're not comfortable talking to a woman because you're not practicing talking to a woman, then that's going to be your dating experience throughout the whole time.
Of course, that's definitely a case. You definitely got to get the reps in because dating is more in person than just swiping and stuff. So,
Yeah.
friend zone, is it ever possible to get out of friend zone, or the friend zone is just you're there for life?
The thing with being in the friend zone is it is possible, but it's gonna depend on the situation. But usually, when women see you as a friend, that's it.
Yeah,
Usually,
trust me, I know.
usually. But it takes a special circumstance. I'm not saying it's impossible, but there will be some special circumstances that you can get out of it. Probably, and this is what I noticed people who got out of the friend zone. They usually have to give the relationship between that woman and the guy some space to breathe, some room to grow. Like they have to be separated at some point, or they have to stop talking in an instance, and then when they rekindle, that's another new opportunity for them to approach that relationship in a different light. Like the guy can now make a move after, like, let's say, oh, it's nice to see you again, we haven't talked for so long, right? But if you're constantly talking to that person, or that person is your close friend and you're really close and you're always showing up as that friend, then yeah, once the woman sees you as a friend, it's going to be hard for you to get out of that, because
Yeah,
that's what they're going to lean in for you.
mhm. Yeah, trust me, it is hard for a man to get out of the friend zone, and it's hard for people to get out of friend zones in general. So it's like, but how then? Now with the friend zone, how can someone friend zone you when they barely know you?
Well, that's can you rephrase that question? Like, what do you mean by how can someone friend zone you when they barely know you?
Because let's say you ask a young lady out, and then she sees you, y'all start
Okay.
talking, and then she just says, "I only see you as a friend," and you're like, "You barely know me."
No, okay. So here's the thing. With that, because first impressions matter. What a lot of men, here's the thing. This is why mindset is so important in dating. And a lot of the times, what you see in social media about, like, here's the thing. A lot of men are so focused on the tips and tricks and the how-tos that they forget that women don't really care on what you say. It's how you say it, it's how you present yourself. And so, for example, like, even if the woman barely knows you, how do you stand up? How is the cadence and the tonation of your voice? How do you say hi, and how do you convey the message that you want to convey? Because women are very intuitive like that. Because what you have to know is our senses are heightened as women, just because we have to become aware of that, just because we feel like we're going to be always in danger, because like the nature of the outside world, and we have a lot of experiences about men being predatory, getting catcalled, so that's why our senses are always heightened. Like, even some women can say something feels off even though they don't know what it is, they just feel something's off, but usually it's because of the body cues, nonverbal language that the person is already showing when they're talking to somebody, right? Sometimes, like, how they present themselves is not coming from a place of, like, I am interested in getting to know you more because you pique my curiosity kind of thing, but how they're presenting themselves is, I'm not really sure about myself, and I'm just trying to see if you would give me a chance. If that makes sense. There's a difference between coming from an energy of neediness and desperation versus an energy of confidence and good intentions. Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Liquor Talk. The more you drink, the better we sound. Ladies and gentlemen, got Coach Shelly in the house today. So, Shelly, so let's see. I know you did mention about confidence and come off as being confident. So, how do men change their body cues, or is that something you work with men on?
Yeah, yeah. The thing is, this really involves a lot of mindset work. Like, think about it like this. If you see yourself as someone worthless, someone who can't give anything, or, like, let's say, why would women want me? I have nothing to offer. Think. If you're thinking like that, how would your body show? Like how would your posture be? Usually people like that are always like crooked. They're always looking down. The cadence of their voice or how they project their voice is always like, "You know what? Are you interested in going out with me?" Like it's very low. It's not coming from their diaphragm. There's no sense of power and commanding in that. And so women can sense that. How let's say you shake their hand, how do you grip their hand, right? That is so evident, and that is so important that people are missing too, is how you show up. It's not what you say but how you show up, versus a guy who is very sure of himself, who knows that he has something to offer, and who knows that even though you said no to me, I know that I have other options. They present themselves in a different way. They have like a more relaxed posture. They look straight, they don't look down, they smile at you a lot, they have proper eye contact. The voice and how they project their voice is, it sounds very reassuring, very safe. This is one thing, because like for us, we value safety. We value safety amongst everything. And so who do we feel safe more? Like a man who knows what he's doing, and and is confident and is showing up, and knows that, he has something to offer, and doesn't need anything if he doesn't gain anything from this conversation, or a guy who's just like really downing himself, has a low self-esteem, feels like once you said no, they're gonna break, right? Like we don't, because the thing is, a lot of women already have experience, and this is why ghosting happens, right? A lot, not only for women but also for men, but in the women's side, the reason why they ghost is because whenever, I'm pretty sure a lot of women have already experienced like, no, I'm not interested in you, and they got a violent reaction from the men. What do you mean you're not interested in me? Da 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 da. You know? And so that's why they just ghost. It's better to not confront them than say like, I'm not interested, because they're not sure, especially if this person doesn't feel safe for them.
Wow, I've never knew that. You helped me understand that. But me, from a man's point of view, who has confidence, who just I'm at a point in life where I just don't give a fuck. It's like I
Right.
care, but at the same time, I know with or without you, I'm gonna make it happen. But the thing is, instead of ghosting, most men who are logical, they respect you if you just say, "Hey, I'm not interested." I would have more respect for a person if you tell me, if you just reject me, than compared to somebody that just goes ghost. Because if you go
Yeah.
ghost, you're somebody, I look at you like you're just not a strong individual. You don't stand on business.
Yeah. No, and that's a good way to determine somebody's character too. Because I notice a lot of men do get hung up on like the ghosting part, because they're wondering what happened and what did they do wrong, la di da di da. But that's already a testament to that person's character, that woman's character, that they're not able to have a good conflict resolution with you if they're not able to communicate what they feel. So that's it. You don't have to chase that anymore, too. You know?
Yeah, so it's like now that what sometimes women don't realize is that might ruin it for the next woman. So that's why sometimes men can be like hesitant, to ask somebody out or make a move, because
Yeah.
they already done been ghosted, and they're like they kind
Hmm.
of don't want it to happen again.
Yeah.
Then you
And
get
if you,
some men
yeah.
who also will try to be players out here, just start hurting other
Right.
women.
And you know what? This happens in women's side too. A lot of women are players too. They use men as well. It comes both sides. But the thing is, you notice like just in general, us as people, we're just like either hurting each other or uplifting each other, Like whatever we're experiencing, it reinforces our belief, and then if it reinforces our belief, then that's how we're gonna act. And so that's why in this climate and culture of dating, especially right now where ghosting happens so much, and then a lot of mixed signals are always being thrown out and sent, this is why you really have to be your own friend. You cannot down yourself during the times that you're looking for someone to be with,
Mm.
because that is gonna not set you up for success if you also start saying, probably women ghost me or just not reply to my text or not go on dates with me because I'm ugly or I'm too short or I suck or I'm too weird. Like, no, you don't. No. Once you do that, that's it for you. You're gonna act like that too.
Wow, that's so true. That is how you think is how you act. That is so true. So tell me about your transformation process of, and how does it work? Like, do you start off with guys, you tell them the issues, and then you start coaching them, or take me through your coaching process?
Yeah. So my coaching process is a little bit more unique than other dating coaches because I know other dating coaches do focus on like the how-tos, the techniques and stuff like that. But mine is more intensive in terms of like we really start with the mindset and how they see themselves. I don't know if you're familiar with the term somatic coaching. Have you heard of that?
I've never heard that. Go ahead and elaborate on that.
So TLDR, too long didn't read, or for short, somatic coaching is helping you feel your feelings so you don't get hijacked by them.
Mm,
Like techniques on like learning how to become more emotionally aware to develop that um emotional intelligence and also your body senses so that when you do feel, let's say, because it's inevitable that you will feel nervous, that you will feel scared and other negative emotions, right? But then to not get hijacked by that and knowing that you're going to be safe and okay even though you feel that way. So that's one of the things that we work on. Also reinforcing their strengths and also working through limiting beliefs. That's the first thing that we really work on because a lot of the times that's what's stopping them from making a move. And then after they get to know themselves and after they get more familiar with what's stopping them, what we do is also build a skeleton or like an idea of what their ideal woman looks like. Because this is what usually happens. A lot of people are having a hard time looking for women because they put themselves in the wrong places because they don't know what they want, right? They just expect, oh, I should go to the bar to meet women. But if you're looking for a long term relationship, why would you go to the bar, right? Why would you constantly position yourself there? You're just gonna not get what you want. And so having clarity on that, kind of like stepping into the mind of where would the person that I want to date be in, right? Getting familiar with that. And also knowing where to put themselves so that because here's the thing, we cannot control who we meet, but we can control where we position ourselves to increase the chances of meeting those kinds of people.
mm,
So that's what we're also going to work on. And then the last part of it is like the dating tips, advice. This is where the technique happens because after you get the mindset work, it's easy for you to incorporate the dating advice. This is why a lot of the times the dating advice don't stick is because you haven't done the inner work to make it stick. A lot of the times there's so much clutter in your head that you cannot absorb new information to apply it. And so
mm.
that's basically the decluttering that we do.
So, what's the first step in decluttering? Like, do you just have to say forget everything we learned, or how does one start with the decluttering? Because you got to declutter eventually to make room for new things.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it starts with awareness. Like being really radically honest with yourself about like, okay, this is what I noticed that I'm constantly doing. Becoming aware of the pattern that is stopping you from moving forward. And after that, when you become aware of it, I think the second part is the acceptance part because the acceptance is sometimes people are aware that there's something that they have to work on, but they don't do anything because they can't accept it. That's the hardest part because you're going to approach the thing that you become aware of without judgment. You have to be able to say, like, okay, I don't want to approach women because I'm scared they might think I'm creepy, right? And if you know that, how can you approach that coming from a place of compassion and love? And so sitting down with that, and this is why it's so important to feel that emotion and sitting down with that because now you're not trying to change yourself out of spite, but it's changing yourself out of love. And if you know how to approach yourself coming from a place of love, it's easier for you to communicate what you need
Mm,
to another person. So that's also what we're going to work on, that also getting to the root of where this is coming from as well. And then after that, when we get to the root, this is where the embodiment and integration happens. So that's
Mhm.
basically the decluttering process that we do.
That's true. That's true. Now this month is Valentine. Now Valentine's Day is coming up real soon. What is some things you recommend to people who you're coaching to do for either a woman that they're trying to get or themselves if they don't have somebody?
So for Valentine's Day, for single people who don't have prospects, I would suggest approaching, because Valentine's Day is a day of love, right? It's just not, usually it's advertised as like, oh, couples, relationships, or romantic relationships, right? But think of it coming from a place of like, okay, I'm single and I only have myself. How can I take myself out on a date and get to know myself more? How can I show love for myself instead of fixating or putting your energy into the things that you can't control right now? Putting your energy in something that you don't have is just gonna make you sad and depressed. You don't want that. As much as possible, you don't want to reinforce that feeling of what's making you hurt more. So learn about yourself more. Treat yourself as if you were your own lover too. That's for the single people so that they don't get fixated so much on the idea of like, I need to have somebody. Sometimes that person is already there and that's you. And then for the people who are already in a relationship, it's a good way to just rekindle and basically spend some quality time together. It's a good chance for you, especially if you guys have been in a longer relationship. It's a good chance for you to just basically um, take time to say what you appreciate about the relationship so far, because sometimes in the day to day, especially if you guys have been dating for a long time, every day we forget to just talk to our partners and we take them for granted sometimes because we have been together for a long time. So it's just a good thing to just open that up and show appreciation to them. And yeah.
So what do you say to people who think Valentine's Day could be the end all be all? Because I've heard of couples like breaking up over not getting a Valentine's Day gift. Like you knew this day was coming. Like why is it that so many people see that as the end all be all when there are 3 4 other days to show love? You know.
Yeah, it's because social media, society, it's just people expect something to happen because everyone celebrates this day for that. But at the same time, it's like there's more to your relationship than that. You have to understand that if you really value the relationship, it's not about just the special day, but it's your partner that you have to think about too. It's about the moments that you have cherished together. And if something, again, if you really love somebody, you won't communicate or you won't talk to them in a way that's demeaning to them, you know? So if it's an end all be all for them, it's also an indication of what they value and where their priorities are. And probably they have to work on themselves.
Yes. Yeah, you would think they would definitely need to work on themselves if Valentine's Day is end all be all because that looks like to me is you just trying to keep up with somebody or you just only care about materialistic things. So do you
Yeah.
coach men on how to spot people who are just in it for materialistic things so they're not out here getting their time wasted? Because another reason men can be hesitant to get in the dating pool is because a lot of times we have our time wasted by somebody who just wants us for what we can do for them, not what's
Yeah.
inside of our heart.
Yeah. Yeah. That is very spot on because I have a lot of clients who have become a big victim of like women asking them for cash or just women being in a relationship with them because they have been giving them cash, which is true. But this is a good way to know if your priorities align, you know? And if she only cares about materialistic things, then she's not the woman for you.
Of
Like
course.
we don't want that. That is a very superficial way to live, and that is a very superficial thing in a relationship. We want depth as humans. We want somebody who can make us feel seen and understood, not somebody who can give us money and provide stuff. I mean, granted, probably that's part of the relationship, but then that's not what defines a relationship.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. It should be a small part of the relationship, not
Yeah.
not how much I can buy you. Because if you can be bought, then that's not the person for you, because that person can then do other fucked up things, which they can abuse you or do other things, or they could cheat on you, and it's okay because they're buying you. But
Yeah, yeah. No, no. A real woman who wants to be in a long-term relationship, that is something small for them. That is not the end all be all for the Valentine's Day relationship. And if you're dating somebody who sends an ultimatum when you like that, girl, I mean, not girl, it's just an expression, but just don't worry about it. Probably find somebody else. There's somebody out there who will appreciate your gestures.
that's a fact. There's somebody out there that's willing to will try to will appreciate your gestures and stuff. So, where do you coach men on how to meet people? If not at the bar, then where? Because most times we think at the bar or a certain club, or because you get tired of swiping. But if not the bar, then where?
This is a very good question because this is why it's so important to really get to know yourself and what you want for yourself, because you don't know where you're going to go if you don't know what you're looking for, right? Like, this is a perfect time to sit down and ask yourself, okay, are there any hobbies that I'm interested in? If I don't have any hobbies right now, is there anything new that I want to try? Like, sometimes probably guys who are very active would want to go on run clubs or like events like that, because that's an opportunity for them to meet other people who are also into sports. People who are into video games or a little bit nerdy probably might go to like, or into board games or like D&D, like, do you know Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
Yeah, like D&Ds and stuff like that could probably go to a D&D event, or like there's a lot of events that's being hosted in a board game shop or a game shop that they could go to and meet other people. If you are interested in, let's say, wellness or personal development growth, probably attending a retreat, a what you call that? The wellness spa. They have a lot of events there too. Honestly, it's your lifestyle that will define what type of people you will meet and how you live your life. And this is why if you're not doing anything to, again, do something to make yourself happy, or like actually do your hobbies or go out there and just get stuck inside the house just swiping endlessly, you're really not going to meet anybody. Think of dating apps as a good way to expand your network, not solely to meet people. It's a good tool to just expand. If you're putting, because the primary goal here is to just always put yourself out there. How can people know you if you don't put yourself out there? It's like an unfortunate thing.
Yes, that is definitely an unfortunate thing. I definitely agree with you. We definitely gotta get out there besides the dating apps. Now, I recently had a guest who coaches a dating coach, but they coach senior citizens, like people 60 and up, and they
Oh,
said that another reason that people are unsuccessful with dating is their geography. Now, do you tell people that, hey, maybe you might need to think about relocating, or does geography play any kind of factor in that?
it does. It does. Um, I do have one client who is going to relocate into a different state just because he feels like he's outgrowing his current place. That is a big thing. Sometimes, like, if you live, here's the thing, and this is why really reflecting and knowing what you want in life matters, because let's say you live in a small town and then you feel like you've been meeting the same people over and over again, that just doesn't get you. Probably this is a sign for you to pursue what you want to do and get to know more people in a bigger town, right? But unless you are the type of person who do want to meet somebody in that small town and continue, like the normal, just marking off the milestones and checklists in life, and that's the thing that you really want, then probably you can stay there and eventually you'll meet somebody who will share the same goals as you.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
So
It's really your lifestyle
yeah.
that affects your demographic, which is true because what your lifestyle is will actually define where you choose to live.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, interesting. So, how do you feel about telling people about long distance? Because I know some people they talk about long distance relationships. I tried it back in the day, but I was like, I feel like I need somebody to be within driving distance to me, you know.
Yeah, long distance, I'm not gonna say a long distance relationship is impossible, but it is quite challenging because some of the things that you will need in a partner physically, you won't have in a long distance relationship. The thing why long distance relationships don't work is because they're not working towards the common goal into ending up seeing and living with each other. That's always the goal when it comes to long distance relationship. And if you don't have that definite goal on where you're relocating, what the logistics are, it's not going to work out. I'm just going to say that. The goal, the end goal of long distance relationship is finding a way for you guys to be together. That has to be the common goal no matter what. Let's say like, okay, I'm probably switching jobs, or I'm probably doing this, or I'm probably moving out, or whatever it is. That has to be the goal in order for the long distance relationship to work.
Yes, that definitely has to be the goal. If you, it has to work, is if y'all have somebody gonna have to move. You know, somebody's gonna have to change places, and you gotta see who's willing to make that change, or do you
Yeah.
both agree to just move halfway, or some kind of like. But somebody has got to make the sacrifice for it to work. You know.
Right, right, yeah.
Now, is there something about being a dating coach that you wish you would have known before you got started?
That's a very interesting question. Hmm. You know what? It's just funny. This is just a really funny thing because I work with men, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wish I knew before I started working with men is just I this is just gonna be funny. I wish I knew that I would just prepare myself for the amount of messages that I will receive about men trying to flirt with me or sending me very inappropriate photos in my
Wow.
whoa, rattled.
Wow.
What the
So men don't even be trying to get you to coach. They said, forget the coach.
that it
Get you coaching.
happened.
Let's get you on the team.
No, it happens. Like, funny stories. Like, I had one. I remember this one guy who keeps sending me very inappropriate pictures, but there was a story to it. It started with just shorts on, and then slowly and slowly and slowly, the shorts is coming down. I'm like, what the? No, yeah, it happens. It happens. I'm just
Did
like,
you,
I love. What's up?
did you have to send your boyfriend or husband on them?
No, 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 no. My boyfriend was like, I don't want to know that. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna block. But the thing is, I love helping men, but sometimes there's just so many inappropriate. And besides that, I get a lot of hate too. I get a lot of comments of hate and just like, you bitch, you don't know what you're talking about and stuff like that. And I'm like, mm, and at the end of the day, I'm grateful for it because, oh, now I have a thicker skin. It doesn't bother me anymore.
So where does most of the hate come from? Does it come from the women that don't like the fact that you're coaching the men, or is it the men who try some of the things that you suggested and it didn't work out?
It's guys who are not open to learning. That's it. It's just that what the common phrase I'm seeing for, and this is what I've seen so many times. It's just like, I don't know, like you cannot teach a fish, what is this? A fish, a fish or a fisherman how to fish or something like that.
Or you can't teach
How
your old dog new tricks.
No, 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 no. Basically, because they're calling us women the fish, right? But the fish cannot teach a fisherman how to fish, is what they're saying.
Oh,
That
I got.
saying, everyone's saying that on my comments a lot. Not everyone, but a lot of them. I'm like, wow, I'm learning a new quote. Okay.
It sounds like a lot of those people aren't really open minded.
Exactly, exactly. And like that's the thing. You meet those kinds of people because they need a place to voice out their opinion. It's just like, okay, cool, have
That's
fun.
That's a crazy opinion to have about a dating coach, you know. And I'm
Yeah.
glad you're not getting a lot of hate from women because I hear stories about how women can be the biggest haters because they're like, "Oh, this you're giving away the codes, or you're giving game to the men."
Yeah, but I mean, like, if women are complaining too. Like on our side, like women are always complaining too about like there's no men that I can date. So okay, so this is why we have to teach them.
Yeah.
They're complaining, right?
Yeah, those women complain, but sometimes do you feel like some of those women may have wrote some guys off that they could have dated?
Yes, yes. They also have their own problems. Also
Yeah,
have their
it's
I'm
like,
telling you, it's both sides. It's both sides. Like one is saying all men are like this, the other saying all women are like this, but from what I'm seeing, it's both sides. It's not the gender itself, it's just the individual. Like if you have problems with yourself, you're gonna have problems with other aspects of your life too, especially dating. And dating is a mirror of where you currently are in your personal journey.
mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that. And if you're seeing a lot of, if you're always welcoming a lot of shitty people, then okay, what do you have to work on? Probably it's your boundaries. Probably it's what you're tolerating. But there's something there, you know?
Yeah, you definitely got to work on your boundaries because you can't be Captain Save a Hoe for everybody because it can't be that you always meet women that are down, but then they get up and then they ready to kick you to the curb.
Right, right, exactly. And same thing with women. Women are complaining like, but the guy only wants something for a night. You know, it's like, oh, you put yourself there, girl.
Yeah, and you know what I realize is not a lot of people like to take accountability on both sides. Men don't like to take
Yeah.
accountability, and women especially don't like to take accountability.
Yeah, yeah, it's just that. Again, it's not the gender thing, it's just the individual thing. Like people who are usually complaining a lot are not doing anything because they're using their energy to complain but not to do anything.
So what do you tell them? I'm pretty sure you've had men that you coach and that always complain to you. What do you tell them who are always complaining?
Oh, I set them straight. Like you're working with me right now. Like I am the accountability. I am gonna tell you what you need to work on. And if you keep complaining and not doing anything, then you're not gonna get the results that you want.
Of
That's
course.
that's it. You know? Because like in the first place, we started working together because you want to be open on trying new things. But if you're only gonna complain and nothing is easy, nothing worth it is easy. And this is already a testament to it that you're already doing the hard things, and it's gonna be hard at first, but you have to do it regardless. And if you're just gonna complain, then you're cluttering your brain again, and you're not going to be able to absorb the needed information that you need in order for you to grow as a person, which is unfortunate.
Yes, it's definitely unfortunate. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Liquor Talk. The more you drink, the better we sound. So go ahead and get another drink if you have done so already, and tip your bartenders if you're listening to this at the club. Now, if you're driving, please don't be drinking behind the wheel because we are not paying for your DUI. We are not doing that. So please be sober while driving or at work. So, what kind of places should men look to meet people? Like, I know we mentioned the hobbies and stuff. Should it be like at everyday events or whether it's at the grocery store or whether it's going to the gym or what's an unexpected place that people don't even think to even consider checking out?
Like farmers market too, like you could have small conversations. It's a matter of just like it could be anywhere, anywhere that they want to. Probably it's a matter of like, okay, when they find somebody interesting and they open up a conversation, are they coming from a place of trying to get to know the person, or are they coming from a place of tying themselves to an expectation where they want to ask for their number? If you go on the latter, you're not going to be successful at interacting with that person. But then again, this is why the lifestyle is so important, because this is where you choose to surround yourself. And if you want to be more active in meeting more people, then go on like the events that you want to go to, volunteer work, social gathering. If your friends have parties, go to those too. Here in LA, there's this like there's a lot of I forgot what they're called, but you know how like a matchmaker sets you up on a date with another person, right? So here, not only in LA, but I think this is now statewide. I see this in different states because here in LA, there's this thing called 222 Place where they set you up to meet other people who are looking for friends. You can start with that. Like sign up for those kinds of things. 222 plays. Thursday dating also has it. They set up events on Thursday for people to go, like singles mixers events, or like just a open party in general. Dancing, salsa, bachata. A lot of people are also signing up for that if you want to learn how to dance. And dancing is a great way to learn how to hold yourself in and navigate your space in general, so that you can also be comfortable in your body, which is important for nonverbal cues and holding your body to establish good first impressions. The options are unlimited. It's just a matter of like what lifestyle will you choose to live that matches who you are as a person in order to meet the kind of people and women that you want to meet.
That's real. That's so real. You definitely got to change the lifestyle. Definitely get out there. Now, what is your advice to people who are in the Facebook groups, who are in the singles groups on Facebook, or who are in the friend groups, or just because Facebook have like different groups. So, what is your advice
Yeah,
to them
yeah.
on how to approach somebody that you may encounter in the groups?
Usually the groups it's pretty easy because somebody usually posts like, "Hey, I'm planning to do this," right? They always have like an event going on. You can start commenting. I think the best thing to approach this is like if you are going, contact whoever's going, just confirm that you are coming and everything will happen in the in-person event. Just go. Whenever you see something that you like and you're free that day, go. Take that opportunity. And if nothing is being said and the group is quiet, but it's the you guys are sharing common interests, set you initiate something. Set something up. I remembered m- I met one of my friends from a Facebook group because she wanted to set up an event and I helped. And it's a group of us. We helped her set that event and we were the ones who hosted like a bonfire, campfire in the beach, and we met a lot of people that day. We met a lot of people who became our friends too. And a good place to also know if their friends know somebody that is also single that can introduce you to, the more people, this is what they say is the numbers game. It's more so the more people you know, because the more you put yourself out there, the higher the chances you will meet somebody. So that's why don't limit yourself into the things that you go to. Don't discount it as like, oh, I didn't meet anybody. No, you presented yourself, people now know you. eh, Further down the line there might be something for you, right? Versus the people who don't get out and just cower in fear, like, I don't want to get rejected. No, you have to get out.
Yes, you definitely have to get out. Now, being on the optimistic side, let's say you do get that first date or you do get that date. So, what's some things you tell your guys on going on dates?
The first important thing when you go on a first date, you don't have to spend a lot of money. That's the first thing, because if you do spend a lot of money immediately, oh my god, they might hit and run, you know?
Yeah.
And if the girl does encourage you to spend a lot of money in the first date, that's a red flag.
Oh, that should definitely
You-
be a red flag right there. That should
yeah,
be a screaming red flag.
right.
If you
Yeah.
suggest a place that's cheap and she bets eye to it, like if she complains about the Cheesecake Factory, I'm like,
I want a Michelin restaurant too, or something like. No, don't worry about that. The goal of the first date is always just getting to know that person to see if you guys vibe enough to proceed on other dates. That's it. So you want the first date to be more of a lot of talking and conversing, like a coffee shop or just a walk in the park, probably a small picnic. Doesn't have to be expensive, but you it has to be a place where you are given the opportunity to talk a lot,
so
because
who?
this is where you want to get to know the person more.
So is it true that you should allow her to do more of the talking compared to the man, or is it equal?
um it doesn't matter who does the talking a lot, but you have to come from a place of genuinely trying to get to know her as the person. Like, ask the question, give her like around like 2 to 3 minutes to talk and see where she's coming from, and then insert your thing, right? But then the thing is, no matter if you have an equal talking amount of time or whether she's talking more or you're talking more, what you really have to feel here is there a chemistry, a spark, or a sense of being or feeling seen and understood by this person happening?
Mm.
You know? Because no matter, even if you try to make her talk and you do understand her, do you feel a connection? Or even if she's talking a lot or you're talking a lot and you're sharing a lot of things, is there also a connection her on her end? That's what we want to know on the first date. Is it easy for you to talk to her? Does it make it seem easy for you to talk to her? Because she's also reciprocating.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's flowing.
Yes, it's
That's what you want to look for. Yeah.
definitely what you want to look for. So now, how do you coach somebody? Let's say it doesn't work out. Like, how do you coach them up? Because sometimes, I know I've been there before. Whereas the date don't work out, you're like, "What the fuck, man? What the fuck is wrong with me?"
Yeah.
Like, what do you say to people? Like, say you go on a date, it don't work out. Then how do you get them to not have a pity party about themselves?
One thing that you have to remember about dating is nothing is personal.
Mm,
Just because they didn't want to date you again doesn't mean that you're not enough as a person or that you suck. It just means that you're not what they're looking for. That's it. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just there's a mismatch, right? And pretty sure that you're going to find somebody who will like you.
yeah.
And if you continue blaming yourself, saying that, oh, probably because I did this or I sounded creepy or whatever, again, you don't want to be an enemy of yourself when you are dating because this is what's going to make the dating process harder. Think there's a lot of people out there, and this person is just, again, a stepping stone for you to find the next person or the right person for you.
Of course, of course, of course. So now, do you offer dating recaps as well as so part of your coaching? Do you like coach them on like the dates, or like do you have them like break them down like what happened, what went wrong, and all
Yeah.
that?
Yes. Yeah, we do that. We actually I encourage my clients to always like tell me what happened and break it down for me and see where they feel like they felt confident and felt good about, what they feel like they need to work on or kind of like they felt iffy a little bit and what happened at the end of the date, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so also we also have this thing every other week for all of my clients. We do mock dates, like we we talk about certain topics on like the common struggles of men, and then we it's very interactive. We practice on it based on like hypothetical scenarios and stuff like that.
So, what would you say is a common struggle with men that you? That's another common struggle you see with men on first dates. Is it they're not coming approached, or how is it, or what's something you see that you feel like all of us struggle with?
First dates, a lot of men are overthinking. And the thing is, when you're overthinking, you stop observing what's going on around you and you stop becoming present. This is important because this is where you'll notice her, also her nonverbal cues, and this is where you have to, when you're present and attentive to her, you're going to be able to read her easily. Like, okay, when you say something, she's leaning forward, or when you say something, she started leaning back and like and making faces and stuff like that, the tonation of her voice. You'll notice that when you're present and when you're not trying to figure out what to say. But a lot of men are so concerned on what should I say? What should I do? How should I feel the silence? No. You just have to be in the moment and trust yourself that you'll figure out what you're going to say as you go.
Of course, because sometimes I know us men. I know, speaking from experience, sometimes you'll look at the dating sites or look at what to say, the long list of questions, and try to memorize some things. Hey, what you need to ask about and stuff. So, for your end goal, like,
Yeah.
what is the ultimate end goal for you, and how you're saying, okay, I've this client has been successful and they're on their way.
Yeah, for me, the end goal, because honestly, like for me, I don't want my clients to work with me forever. I want to let them go, get away. I want you to fly free. The end goal is, of course, to for them to be able to feel confident going out there and going on dates, right? But some of my clients, while they're working with me, they do find significant others, and if they do, and all of our sessions have been consumed, I let them go. I let them be happy. But I just want them to feel confident going out there and making sure that they're okay with the idea that they're not going to know everything, but they will gather the knowledge that they need as soon as they start doing it.
Of course, of course. Now, have you ever had to just let go of clients, tell them I'm just not working with you ever anymore because
Oh yeah, yeah. I fired people. Yeah, I was like, oh
what's the
fuck this shit.
fastest way to get
I'm
fired
not.
from you? What's the fastest way you fire somebody?
When it's just like when they're not open. The reason why, and this is why I go on calls with them first to see if they're qualified for the program, is because I want to see if they're open to learning, right? I have some clients who are like, okay, let's just do whatever it takes, right? But then when we're doing the sessions, they started complaining more. It's not happening fast enough. It's not happening whatever. And then I already set the expectation of this is not a quick gimmick fix that happens overnight. Nothing is. And if it happens overnight, you're gonna lose that fast too. You know? Those people, I fire them immediately. I'm like, if you're gonna come here in the sessions and just complain, we're gonna stop the sessions. I'm not dealing with this bullshit. Like, I can't. Like, stop. Stop. You
Of
know?
course. Now, how much do you charge for your clients?
It depends on what they need. That's why we hop on the call to see what they need on like where they are in their dating journey right now. I have so but my rate starts at 250 per session.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Lastly, why do you think people need to hire you as their dating coach?
Well, for me, because for me, I really believe in the longevity of the effect of how you approach dating. Like I approach it not coming from a place of like gimmicks and like coming from a place of like, oh, this is a quick fix, something like that. I do it coming from a place of like also besides working on yourself so that it would have a long lasting effect, but I also make sure that I hold your hand throughout the process. I tell my clients like think of it as like an adventure and I'm going to be your tour guide. I'm going to show you all the places that you need to go to that you probably haven't seen and we're going to go there at your own pace and at your own time. Like I really highly personalize this for them. And I think I just approach this with a lot of love and care as well to make sure that that I will set my clients up for success.
Of course, of course. And I definitely appreciate you, Shelly. I definitely appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me today. What is your call to action for anybody listening to this?
Oh yeah, awesome. So for people who are actually wanting to change their life when it comes to dating, I just recently opened 5 spots right now for a Valentine's Day promotion. So if you're interested, you guys can message me. We can talk more about it. But other than that, what I want you guys to know is like if you want something to change, then do something about it instead of complaining. That's all I can say.
Of course. Shelly, I want to thank you for blessing the liquor talk with your presence. This was definitely an eye opening conversation we needed. I hope everything works out for you and all. And thank you to listeners for listening to this. Shelly, before we get out of there, how can the people reach you once again?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on my Instagram at Shelly Badayos, as in Badayos, or my other socials, TikTok, X, but I don't really use them a lot, and Facebook at Coach Seashells. And you can visit my website at go.coachingwithseashells.com/dating with confidence.
Of course, of course. Thank you, Shelly, for having around with me and blessing the liquor talk with your presence. Well, hopefully we'll link up in person. But if you ever come to Florida, I'm just a DM away. And if I ever come to LA, I will definitely be hitting your line like, hey, I'm in Los Angeles because like you're not the only person I've worked with in California. So I've been needing long overdue for a trip to Los Angeles. So that trip is gonna
Yeah.
happen sooner or later.
Yeah, and also it's really nice here during spring, so come.
Of course, of course. Even yeah, I might have to because Florida gets super hot during the spring. So hey,
I know, it does. But I love Florida weather.
yes, it gets hot. It gets super hot during the spring. But hey, I can say hey during Christmas time, it's nice while everywhere else is snowing. So hey, you got nice weather too in Southern California. So hey, it is what it
So
is.
nice. Yeah.
I want to thank you again, Shelly, for your time, and thank you for everybody listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or you watching this on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in to the Liquor Talk podcast. And until the next episode, keep taking them shots and keep pouring up. Until the next round, y'all. Peace.